Hi there. My name is Chris Farah. Welcome back to Vanity Fair with Chris Farah, a special just solo episode where today we're talking 90 Day Fiance. It's before the 90 days. This is season 8, episode 8. For your safety, please remain seated. Did anyone play Crazy Eights growing up? It's kind of like Uno, but if you just had regular cards and didn't have like this fancy Uno deck. I don't know. All right, my loves. I feel like I have been talking up this season, but some things about this season's production are getting a little heavy-handed for me. So I'm talking about that because I want them to lay off some of the necessary drama, convoluted moments. And I'm going to bring one up when I get there, but it just seems to me that there could be more happening and also maybe just a little bit of like freedom to just record and see what happens in an interesting environment rather than trying to manufacture something. I don't know. Or at least do more research and due diligence in their story and background so that when you do plan their days, you can kind of micromanage situations and where you feel like you can have honest, real, sincere conversations about either the relationship or putting them in situations where they're tested for things might be triggers. I don't know. I think that there's just better ways to do it without some of the things. Anyway, let's just get into it. So, okay, let's talk Forrest and Sheena. Now, I'm trying to, I guess, make a place for myself where I'm like a friend of yours that does like more research than you when they're watching the show, but like not so much research that I can hang my hat on being any sort of like journalist or professor or, like I'm kind of like your dumb, stupid friend that like pretends to be smart sometimes about things. So having said that, we never know anything about reality when it comes to what I'm saying, but let me just tell you, Forrest and Sheena on Reddit and the streets are being torn apart because, and by the torn apart, I mean, they're very confused. They're presenting a very confusing storyline with some drama, which is like Forrest is just seeing her parents for the first time, seeing this Airbnb for the first time, all of that. Except there are pictures, I guess, unless they're differently marked, from like 2021 or 2019, like years in which we know preceded the filming of this. So now there might be a logical explanation. Those pictures might be wrong. Again, this is where I'm like, you can't hang your hat on exactly what I'm saying. I don't know. I didn't make those pictures. I'm just telling you what I've been reading on Reddit. That's what I'm telling you. Okay. So that part, that's frustrating because even if you didn't have that information if we're to believe it's not true, enough of them is enough. They are enough. You know what I'm saying? Like, you didn't have to do that. So obviously let's get into the story. We're coming up in the fact that Forrest has seen Sheena's parents' place and it's great, really nice, and not decrepit or falling apart or dilapidated or in needing of funds I say Sheena's parents, it's her dad, Steve, and her sister, her mom is somewhere else. And Forrest is like, and they're very nice. I don't understand, like, Sheena, what's up? And she tries to kind of like talk around it. She dodges it in a way by being like, well, now you're here. Let's move on. Yeah. Like, I didn't know what you were expecting. And he's like, well, I was expecting what you said. Okay. So that's one part. So he's getting coffee in the morning. I mean, their setup is great. And he knows it. He does a little coffee shuffle dance that like someone who appreciates the best part of waking up isn't, for me, an espresso in your cup. And I don't know if it's a pour over or what he's getting, but I mean, he is shuffling there and it's a little two-step. Obviously, Sheena and Forrest have preceded Molly, and now Molly is coming with our favorite person in the entire world. That's Dev. And when Forrest and Sheena go to greet Molly as she drives up, they assume what I can only say is in a defensive position. It's like football, if I knew football, where people lock arms. It's kind of like football / Red Rover. I don't know why I keep bringing up like old games from my youth. I'm just a sentimental gal, I guess. Red Rover, honey. Can you believe I just pulled that up? What? And on the Traders episode, I brought up 7-Up. Heads up, 7-Up. I mean, I'm like someone who I'm already, I think, maybe like in Alzheimer's or whatever late stages where like now I just have regressed and can only remember like the first 10 years of my life. Okay, so that's not true. Who are you? Kidding. We're talking about, I know what it is, 90 Day Fiance. So I'm playing. Okay, so obviously Sheena again now gets to show Dev and Molly the entire beautiful Airbnb. That's surely not one of the reasons why they're on the show. Not to like, get people to sign up. It's great. It's all the things. She's like, look at this fruit, look at that fruit. They're like, oh my God, so many fruits, flowering this, flowering that. Molly's like, they're living better than Forrest and I live in the United States. The USA is what she says. Now, I love this for everyone. I love this for everyone involved. Like, I love this for everyone watching who's like assuming that the American lives are better. I love this for Molly and Forrest. I love this for Sheena's parents. Now, Sheena, I wonder why she didn't do any due diligence or preparation in like how she was going to handle this situation. She surely didn't give Forrest a heads up. I feel like Sheena, okay, I'll say what I said. So they're showing them around. That happens. Steve and Dev meet. All the parents shake hands. They cut jackfruit. It's not quite ripe enough. And then Sheena is going to do a bottle fight. And now, I wish Christina was here so she can give us, full on bottle fight info, which obviously, if you watch the episode, they did a good job though. So basically it's when you see people or Filipino culture, but I don't know if it's just, I'm not quite sure that part, lays out a beautiful feast just on banana leaves. And you kind of put the food down the line so everyone has equal access to anything they want in arm's reach. And arm's reach is definitely what you would have to use, your arm. You know what I'm saying? And it's family style. I love family style. It's feasty. It's very culturally, no, come on, Chris, culture-y. Yes. Well, okay. And I'll give Molly this. Like Sheena's like, and I know Molly will love it. And I love any American who appreciates any culture. So like, we talked a lot of shit about Molly. So Molly likes this, we're like, oh, good. Molly isn't going to be like, ew, I need plastic, forks. I don't know. Great. Molly's into it. Now, Molly's into it, honey. Dev can't even be paying attention to all of the drama at the table. Dev is deep in this shrimp and rice. Honey, Dev is dreaming about the burgers, the strip club burgers, or thinking that they're about to be dethroned. Dev can't even hear what's happening. And I'll tell you what's happening around Dev. Basically, Molly is like, well, this is beautiful. And you've really shown us a great experience. You're hosting us so nicely. So what I should only do is ruin it by telling you your daughter, who has lied to us the entire time, has been lying about you. Your daughter. And then, oh wait, I missed a part. Well, that's fine. So that sorry, I missed one part. This conversation happens because they add in a Molly voiceover that you can tell when you're watching doesn't happen in real time. So basically they're trying to hint around the fact that this is like, very nice or whatever. And what are they going to do with Sheena leaving or whatever? And they say, oh, Sheena, Sheena's whole dream was to work in the USA. And which is a little bit like, never heard of that. You know what I'm saying? And they cut to Sheena right away. And then her dad is like, yeah, she does help us here, but we also wanted to question what's happening with Forrest, because if you ask us if we're okay if Sheena's leaving, like the obvious question would be, who's going to take care of her and our daughter, and does that person have the capability and means to do so? And then that's when Molly's voiceover comes in, and she says, "Let's put Forrest's finances to the side." And I was like, because in real life, there's no way in which Molly's mind would say, Forrest his finances to the side. Like, let's stop talking about Forrest for a second. Like, like she wouldn't say that. So that's why I clocked it. And then that's when she said, I heard you've been taking all of Sheena's earnings, and she told us that if you didn't give her the money, that you would be abusive to her. And they're like, what? She's like, yeah, that's what she said. She like fully tattletales on Sheena to Sheena's parents. Sheena's like, oh my God. You know what I'm saying? Sheena's dad's like, did you say that? And then Sheena starts the waterworks. Sheena really just, she disintegrates into a crying fit. Now, it's interesting because we've seen this before. And when we saw this before, she was obviously being targeted by Molly, and everyone was like, stop doing that to our Sheena. And we still love Sheena, but it was interesting to watch us again when now we know that she definitely did lie. I mean, and she's definitely not able to take accountability for it, not just own it in a very honest way. And she obviously has some, well, I'm not obviously, I assume has, well, I think that she has, God bless, some processing and emotional, interesting, divergent vibes. And so I don't, no one's like putting anyone's feet to the fire, but to watch her kind of disintegrate into tears again made it a little bit less easy for us to have as much empathy as we did before. Molly's so happy to have someone to like point at Sheena and be like, look, see, is what I've been saying. Sheena basically is like this. I lied because it's hard to save money. It's really hard for me to save money. And she also said that she gave some money to her parents. It's true. But also that it's hard to save money for her because obviously she has to pay for the entirety for her to get the visa and all that stuff. And we assume it could be hard probably to save money. I wonder what she's spending money on. Then I'm like, what is it, girl? Is it Pikachu things? Is it Labubus? Girl, what is your thing? I also feel like I'm 100% interested in going back to where's Forrest's financial stake in this. And I dare say it's one of the undercurrents of why Sheena, she hasn't said this, feels okay with the lying and how long it's been or whatever, because I think that Sheena, if we're to believe everything we're given, right, feels like Sheena wishes that Forrest had his shit together a little more so that he could be like an equal partner in this and therefore give her money, to help her come over and also have a money and a job there so that when she gets there and can't work, right, they have a life. But the truth of the matter is what is their plan? She can't possibly have enough money saved to have the 2 years without her being able to work to live in America for her. I mean, I would need to know what the numbers of that looks like, what she thinks. Because if we're also to believe that Forrest doesn't have a job, then who's sponsoring her? Who's doing the whole $10,000 thing, $10,000, 10-year situation? I'm talking about, numbers and me, but it's the kind of conversations that I wish we would be having, especially if there's anything false afoot. Then I'm like, can we be having these conversations? Anyway, or can we have a conversation about how it's her dream to move to America? Is it true? And why don't we have more information about that? Who are Sheena's best friends? Does she have any best friends? Are they only the animals? What does Sheena's house look like? And what does Sheena do when she gets home? And also, can we watch Sheena watching Forrest? And can we talk more about the kink? Okay. But let's get back to what I can only talk about, which is what's in front of me, even though obviously my ADHD mind is, blaring all the other thoughts. Her parents are like, yeah, she gave us money, but we never forced her. And the money is like a loan. It's always been a loan, and we can give it back to her. And Sheena's crying, Sheena's crying at the table. She cries in a confessional and says she's sorry. And then this is another opportunity where it's like, okay, it's a loan that she's given you and you can give it back once the sister goes over the books or whatever. But what is that loan? You're going to give that money. And again, is that what Sheena thinks she's going to live off of? Forrest then brings up $4,000 for the visa, which is okay. So it's again, Forrest thinking this money's for the visa. And Forrest then is like, yeah, we need that money for the visa. And I even think in this moment when he says it, I'm like, not even the sister is going to be like, well, Forrest, how much are you putting up for that? I mean, also Forrest, yeah, like, well, how are you going to take care of my sister when she can't work there? Molly, what did you think? Dev? I know you're enjoying the grilled shrimp, but like, can you put it down for a second and I don't pay attention to what's happening here? I mean, Dev tunes out in such a way I can't even imagine. I mean, the compartmentalization that man probably has to do like on a daily, like minute by second basis is fascinating to me. Okay, so moving on. Lisa and Daniel. So it's back at the place and he's teaching her how to dress in the newfound accoutrements they've picked up. And he is putting on her outerwear. And he's like, okay, we're going to go visit my uncle and you have to kneel and you have to hold the wine. And then you're going to pass the wine, not to my uncle, to me. And then I will give it to my uncle. She's like, okay, now I'm going to give this to my girl, Lisa. She looks great. She's wearing like a white eyelet shirt. Now it's demure. There's not a titty to be had. She has, the wig looks on. And so she's doing like a kind of like a tendrils thing, kind of like two things in the front. I think it's wispy. Now it comes time to the hair wrap. And yeah, like everyone really expected Lisa to really pick up how to do that hair wrap one and done without watching anything. That's not, okay, I can see what you're doing by not nothing, but I can just feel, just wrap it like that, wrap it like that. Yeah, I knew in that moment that it'd be crazy. I don't understand why everyone's expecting so much of Lisa. Like, I don't want to be on Lisa's side, but yeah, Danielle is expecting absolutely too much. So yeah, she's like, you have to help me. You're insane. I cannot see what was happening. And so he does. And then he's talking about it. It's like, well, yeah, why wouldn't you? You know how to do it. He's like, yeah, well, I did watch my mom do it every day of my life until she died. And we're like, sad, but boy, it'd be great to put those skills to use right now. And this one white woman who's never seen it, because she didn't see it. She felt it kind of. Okay. Then they get in the vehicle to go to visit his uncle and both are nervous. Yeah, both are nervous. Now he at first is like, don't be nervous to her. But in their confessionals, both admit nervousness. Now, of course, she's nervous, right? Now we get to where the uncle is. And I mean, the uncle is hanging out at a place called Nook Hub, and there's lots of pink and purple lights. It's kind of like an after hours peach pit vibe with people drinking Coronas and wearing loafers. I mean, I did not like it. No, I liked it. Nook Hub. I can't go always to a place in pink and purple lighting. It's obviously a lot. It's a vibe, like any lighting is a vibe. Red lighting is a vibe. Obviously, gold or kind of like yellow lighting is, what I have in my household. I, don't have a lot of white lighting. But he looks like he is the fucking mayor. He looks like he is the beer con of this place. He's like, I don't know if he owns the place or whatever, but he's always there, and there's like a kind of upper level throne style section that he's on. And as they approach, I will give this to Daniel. Daniel thinks that what they should do is like go up to the throne and then kneel on the throne because he knows that they're supposed to kneel. He'd been telling Lisa. However, what he decides to do in that moment is like go up the steps. And the uncle's like, absolutely fucking not. Do you know who I am? And do you know who you are? Get back down there on your knees. That is a Princess Bride reference. If you're wondering, if you're like, why is that familiar? Or if you're like, Chris didn't make a stupid 90s reference this episode, check and check. Okay. So then the uncle starts off nice. Okay. He's like, my good lady, how are you? And she's like, nervous. Thanks for asking. And then he's like, who are you? Lisa opens her mouth and she's like, well, I'm an orphan. My parents died and then a very nice family raised me. I'm American. I'm also Irish. I'm Irish American. I'm Irish American. No, an Irish American orphan that died. Parents died in the potato famine of Idaho. She's like, like, oh my God, what is real? What's not? Because we already know that she's going to lie or whatever. And then she says, I'm a hard worker and a Christian. And we surely know that those two things are not true. So we have to assume that nothing is. we're like, Lisa's is like, answers to this man is like, okay, all right. So I got really into TPing when I was like in junior high. It was because like I probably was like too old to be doing it. It was just like in seventh grade, who knows, like seventh grade or whatever. And like, but I went to Catholic school. So like I basically had nothing, I was like such a goody two shoes and Arabic Catholic, God bless. And a bushy eyebrow, who knew? So all this to say TPing was my thing or whatever. And I got really cocky about it. Like also because my dad would help me because, I think that my dad's like a little bit of like a shitster and like, only had me or whatever. And, was just like, needed to like get some, like pranks shit out. I would, men are like, boys are like that, whatever. I don't know boys. Men, I don't know men. So basically, okay, back to me. All this to say, I TP'd like so many people's houses, right? Like every guy that like I cared about and all the ones I didn't, the ones that were mean to me, like, maybe or maybe not. Like I TP'd like my science teacher's house. Like I don't know why. I just like went up. I TP'd this like girl's house that was my friend, but also my friend and me. Like I just like, I went up and down the list and people TP'd my house, like, but barely because it was like hard to, there weren't that many trees in my house. So it would have been like awkward, but like mostly they TP'd the grass, which was annoying because then like the sprinklers came on. If you have to like ever get wet TP out of, I'm saying toilet paper. I don't know why, toilet paper out of foliage. It's obviously annoying. Trees even more. Anyway, one time I got talked to by my school because I TP'd my science teacher's house, and like my dad had like a very specific car and we lived like, like not in a big city, like people knew each other. It's so stupid. So anyway, so the way that Lisa is getting interrogated by Daniel's uncle is very like little kid. Like I wouldn't TP Mrs. Bowman's house. No, I wasn't there on Friday at 10:42. No, I didn't stop by the Ralph's 20 minutes earlier where someone saw me grabbing 7 different things of 4x roll. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just, obviously she's lying and obviously she's shit scared and obviously she's just going to open her mouth and say, a bunch of bullshit. And he's like, okay, I can't let you talk. I'm just going to get right to the specifics. He's like, do you drink? She's like, yeah, a little. Sometimes I have, palm wine. Can't be that bad. She's also going to be like, this Christian, honey, I'll tell you what we do. And the American Christians, we be drinking. We drink. It's fine. Did I say Irish? Irish. I don't know. That's racist of me. But you know what I'm saying? She could just be like, I'm Irish Catholic. So we drink, we like that's part of it. Okay. So he's like, do you smoke? And she says no. And we're like, Lisa, because we've seen her just, take down a vape pen. But then that's what I'm saying. Like, I think that she's like, this bitch said smoke. I'm not smoking. I'm vaping. Yeah, I vape. He didn't say vape. Smoke. We all know what smoke means. Burning. You incinerate something and then you suck the incinerated flame thing into your mouth and you hold it. I mean, yeah, I know what smoking is, yeah. Also, no, I'm going to lie about everything. So yeah. And then he says, are you? Or were you a lesbian? And then she's like, one time it was a fling. It was a one-time fling. It was a one-time only, one-time fling. It was a lug, one night only. I don't tell you, I was just at a sapphic bar and I was just overcome with drunkenness. And I fell on top of a person who was a woman. I didn't know who and somehow, like suddenly we were in a scissoring. I'm sorry. Did I say that out loud, Uncle? I didn't mean scissoring. I meant, you're like, oh my God, shut up. She's hilarious about it. But at the same time, we're on Lisa's side. Like, this is wild for her to have to deal with. She, of course, should just be like, yeah, what are you going to do about it? Because here's the thing. Do you want this? I mean, Daniel, do you want your mom's premonition of a white woman saving you to come true or not? Because if not, I can leave because I'll just be the truth. The truth is, yes, I have been in a lesbian relationship. And the uncle's like, I know lesbianism is rampant in America. And, I guess it's just, obviously the spectrum of human experience is rampant amongst the spectrum of humans. Like, period, across the board, like everyone there's dumbness everywhere. There's meanness everywhere. There's kindness everywhere. There's like intelligence everywhere and all the different kinds of intelligence, like in every land, every culture, like, every person and people have like, they're like genius music people and they're like genius writers, you know what I'm saying? And the storytellers and the way in the, you know, like there's all the ways in which humanity excels, you know, and certain cultures certainly have like, a propensity to have like celebrated either art forms or skills or, you know, whatnot. But it's like everyone is gay everywhere. Everyone's straight everywhere. Everyone is bi everywhere. Everyone's everywhere. Everyone is, you know, like a narcissist everywhere. Everyone is like out for themselves everywhere. Everyone cares about their family everywhere. Everyone wants to be loved and cared for and seen for who they are and valued everywhere. So it's just like, it is so interesting. I don't know, anytime everyone's like, oh, lesbianism is rampant in America, as if it's not rampant, like, you know, in Nigeria, as if it's not rampant, you know, like as if this man, you know, he knows people, he knows people who have seen the same sex genitalia, if not he has. You know what I'm saying? Of course. It's just, come on. So it's just, even if it's like a culture in which you're not allowed to discuss it or do it, I just can't believe that it doesn't happen, obviously. Because I think that naturally in moments, humanity happens, especially if you're with someone else. I mean, I don't know. Anyway. There's pockets. Okay. So I'm saying there's pockets of lesbianism in Nigeria. I know there is. Stand up. Okay. So he's basically like, do you lie? And that's like, can I trust everything that you've said? And then she's like, everyone says a fib and I've lied, but I'm not a liar. And I felt like that was almost the most like politician-like statement that you could possibly say. Like, I think is kind of like the most genius answer to give in that moment, because she answers the question, yes, but she tries to tiptoe out of it being bad. And it's you know, here's the thing. Do you drink? Yes. And what she's saying is like, everyone drinks, buddy. Do you smoke? No. But she does. And are you a lesbian? She says, yes, it was a one-time thing. But undercurrent of that is like, well, everyone's kind of does a little something sometimes. Now, I'm not saying everyone does a little something sometimes, but I'm saying in every pocket of every world, every people, therein lies exists that. Having said that, saying that she lies but is not a liar is like, I've had sex with that woman. Not really, but you know, it's like a very kind of like semantic thing that like makes me impressed by her. Then the uncle is so fucking confused by how to take this wild banshee where like nothing really makes sense. He's like, okay, is she telling the truth to Daniel? And he's like, yes. And he's like, okay, well, Daniel, you monitor her. And I'm like, okay, well, gross. She's really rigid and scared. And then the uncle just gives him the blessings, just administers the blessings. Now, we were told that he was going to have to go back and have like a recess and confer with his dad offsite, not on camera, and talk about it. But that didn't happen. Just happened there right then. I mean, she's over the moon. And we're like, I don't know what we're like. We're like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm watching this train wreck. That's what we're like. I can't believe I have like a front row seat to this Amtrak train wreck. And also, how did I get this? What a weird gladiator style thing I'm taking part of. Is this right for me? And I mean, you know, then you like pause it, you look at your phone and you forget that happened. And then you're like, oh, I'm going to unpause and watch this again. And then, you know, that thought was never there. So Javon and Annalyn. So they're back at the resort. It's been a couple days and she makes her side of the bed and puts her stuffy down. And she sees that. And she's upset because he criticized her when she was being cute. Like she wants to be like, this is our honeymoon. And, you know, I'm trying to have fun. Now she's upset and now he's trying to be cute. And they're like, well, can we just drop it and like, you know, do the damn thing? And the way that they drop it is so immediate that I'm like, oh, that seems a little much. It does feel like the producers are like, okay, you guys are going to start off upset. And the way you're going to get over it, just be like, can we just have some fun? And then you're going to have some fun. And then you're going to go do the kayak and ocean bike thing and have huge coconut drinks and then have, you know, another oh shit moment. And then, you know, this like real fun dessert. We'll talk about it later. So that is what happens, right? The ocean biking is too small for him. The coconut drinks do look fun. he's going to go meet her mom. We know that the mom is the best friend and has the shop right side by side to her. And Anna Lynn's like, before that happens though, you promised me that you would not talk to that dumb biddy anymore. And he's like, yeah. No, I says, yeah, that's what I said. And she's like, well, did you? And he's like, yeah. And he's like, well, then you would be okay with giving me your phone and letting me check. So then he gives the phone, and this is supposed to be like a, oh no kind of moment. Like there's a commercial break or like, oh my God, where it's like, what is he going to find? And they give us like, close-ups of faces, and we get real sharp to where it's like, and it's just like cute pictures of his dog. Annie Lynn has 2 tattoos that are questionable. One on her back and one on her arm. I don't know. The one on her arm almost looks fake, like it's fading. I'm not quite sure. Now, this is when Javon says something absolutely horrible. He says, women only act right when you could cheat. Paranoia is good, says the podcast host I listen to. Okay. I guess my question is, okay, well then are you supposed to be paranoid of her too? Like, is the thing that you should be aware that your partner is attractive enough to pull whatever someone? Like, I don't understand how it could only be the man. Like, because if we're supposed to believe like, a man's like, women only act right when, they think that you could cheat. So then they like, treat you like a king or whatever. Let's just say is that it? I don't understand why then conversely, you wouldn't think, oh, a woman that couldn't ever cheat on me because no man would ever want to be with her would still be attractive to me. Like whether that's the same. It's real fucked up psychology shit. And I mean, I don't know. I think the answer, I don't know what the answer is. I think that honestly, everyone has to find their own way in a relationship and what works for them. And maybe there is this kind of like passionate push-pull of this, but I think it would only work if you both think that you both could cheat. Cheat is a bad thing. It's like if you think that you both could, immediately go and get another partner because you're both so attractive. I think that it's nice to know that you're with an attractive person who's choosing you. And would you be like thankful and would you appreciate them because you both show up and choose each other every day is kind of nice. But surely what's like important is like the communication and trust. And paranoia just seems like a fucking big ass word to use. Paranoia is just like not being able to be happy or joyful, like undue anxiety and unease. And I don't understand why, if we're like talking about like masculinity podcasts, why they're not telling men to, like lean back on that stable and secure shit. I would assume, I don't know, as a female, don't listen to me, that it would be nice for a man in this situation to make a female feel secure and safe, like he has her back and he's reliable, like he is consistently cares about her and their relationship and like doesn't want to jeopardize that. At the same time, it's like he's thinking that she's not acting right for a reason that isn't him, but she's not acting right because he's not acting right. And if he acted, like I said, in a way that made her feel safe and secure, that he cares about her and he like cares about how she feels about the relationship, I think that she would quote unquote act right. Right? Okay. So basically they go to a Halo bar dinner and, they're dressed up and they look super cute. They're kind of in resort wear finest. It's very like, cruise line. It's flowers. They look cute. And I really like her dress. Her shoe breaks and she's tiny. And she's like, well, it'd be nice if you could pick me up because, by the way, it's like really annoying to walk with a broken sandal. Like that's happened to most people that wear sandals. And it's devastating because you then have to like hold it with your 2 toes and walk. It's just horrible. He doesn't want to pick her up. Javon, have you broken your back? Like, Javon, have you been in a skiing accident? Like, please tell us, like, what is happening? I cannot imagine a world in which you are just, because your stature just alone indicates that you can manage picking up this person, this like, slender lady. It can't be that hard. And even like, weight distribution wise, he's like, well, you're in a dress. And it's like, well, you don't have to make her do like a piggyback. I think that she and I and everyone thought that you would go like this to her, like one of them like going over the threshold situations. And I'm by the way, this, I also feel like women who get picked up a lot, like know their selves enough to know like who can pick them up and who can't. Like I don't let anyone pick me up because I'm not that kind of person. I know myself, but she knows that she can get picked up by this man. And he just feels like he just is so weak all the time when he like runs away from the possibility of just holding her like a normal person. Anyway, he's got to lift a dumbbell every now and then. I mean, what is happening? Can't this all be lemonade jugs to old people all the goddamn time? I mean, go up there and just, teach an exercise class to the old people then. And just make them do like, the 2-pound weights and you get yourself some, I don't know, start with 8 pounds if it's that like that for you. I don't know. Okay. So they go to this Halo bar, which is not Halo top ice cream. Good. It's just a bunch of like rainbow colored dips and glass bowls. Kind of, and I make this reference as much as I possibly can, kind of like the Feast and Hook, where it's like, is that all real? Like, it almost like, what is that? Is like, it looks like yummy jellies, yummy jams and yummy jellies, almost like food coloring to look like that. Again, a rainbow. And there's different food items. One of them is corn. And he's like, the corn part is different. And, we don't usually have corn in our desserts. Now, that's not true. I think there's corn pudding. Isn't there a corn pudding? I feel like I've seen corn before. I mean, I'm not saying it all the time, honey, but I'm not saying at your local Cold Stone Creamery, but I could see Salt and Straw having a corn monthly flavor. He does try it. It's not spicy, so he can get it down. And then she basically is like, you're not romantic. And he's like, well, it's a luxury to even think of the days to be romantic. She's like, what? And here's the thing about this. I will say that people experience things differently and it's hard to come together. And this is if we believe their first time coming together to see how people act in a loving romantic situation. And if we were to believe stereotypical tropes, it would be like, oh, the female, usually the female is like more romantic and more like lovey-dovey and the man's more like, meh. And maybe like that's what this is or whatnot. The way that he plays a victim, like, I just work so much, I don't know what day it is. Like as if he like has a 7-day calendar of working where like Monday is Sunday, because what is what day, she's like, you don't know our anniversary and my birthday. He doesn't feel happy or comfortable in himself, in his body. Those are two true things. So when he takes a picture and he doesn't look present in the moment and happy to be present in the moment, that could be obviously a bunch of different reasons. And I think it's hard for her because she's looking back at the picture and she wants to see like a picture of her and like her husband like looking happy that she can like show all the people on her Facebook. But when she gets the picture, his face is just, if you're listening, just know that it's like for frozen stilted smile. You know what I'm saying? And she calls him out on it. And both of them are kind of doing the same thing, which is that they're hypercritical of each other in this honeymoon romantic situation. And they don't want to hear it. They also are giving it. It's so funny because I one time had this happen too, where I was in a relationship and I felt like the guy I was with, it was just not romantic. And like, I just felt like he wasn't romantic ever and like didn't plan dates or whatever and didn't take me out, but he did. I like made him. Okay, fine. That's what happened. I made him do it. And so he did. I can't remember if I picked the place or whatever. But we're finally like at this dinner and he started criticizing me for my career. And I mean, obviously, and it was like the acting career, right? And so I'm not saying that at the time it was great, but I was doing like a lot at the time. And, a lot of it's outside of my control. And at the same time, I could only think, I don't even know what the fuck you're doing with your whole life. I don't know why I should have probably edited. There was a bunch of reasons why I should have ended it. And this is like one reason. Not even that, but whatever. So all this to say, I remember just being like, this is this romantic time in which I like begged for this from you. And now you're going to use this moment to criticize me. Like it's devastating. It's devastating if like you want love, right? But it's also difficult if you want love and you are foregoing a very honest and obvious reality that this is not your person or not it, or this person's not going to give you the relationship or love that you want. Now, there's two sides to it. The other side is that they don't know each other. They have not spent time physically with each other to see how they both process this world. And I think that, you're in an anxious space. You like want this person to, think that you're the fucking shit, and you have your feelings. You're seeing how this person is dealing with their feelings. It's different than you, and it's confusing, and you're not privy to all of their thoughts and their modus operandi yet. So there's a delicate dance of like seeing what's going to be able to work and what you can work with and what is just like not it. Anyway, so basically he's like, well, maybe I'm just not a good husband then. And then she cries, and then she's like, you just throw things in my face. It's as if that she had not just found out that he doesn't talk to that girl anymore. What if now he just fucking picks up that phone? He's just like, right, well, you're going to throw me right back into her arms. I'm going to delete all these dog pics. I wonder if she found his hidden folder. We all know men have one, says Johnny. Johnny told us what men do. They all have hidden folders, and they all need to be seeing new nudes. That's what men do. Not to like cross jump, I'm saying. So Laura and Birkan, he got mad while they're making them evil eyes because he gave an evil eye to Michael and she gave a humpsy to it. She's like, no. And he got mad. He leaves her. And then she comes out and she's like, you're going to leave me in a hut in a village? And we're all like, well, girl, that's what it's going to take for you to get an Uber back to your huge Airbnb and lock him out. Then yes. What? You are the one that holds, I don't know. You're the one that holds all the power here. Also, what village? Is this really a village? Because to me, you're like, you're in Istanbul. You're in Turkey. It's like a pretty cosmopolitan place. Villages, I think, a little. Okay. Basically, I don't know. You have to tell me if they're really like village-like, and also how hard it'd be to leave. She gets really upset though. But also Laura's whole thing that she like lets loose is that she has put upon Birkan that he's a protector provider type, a dark, mysterious, dominant, hot, sexy, alpha male, angry, aggressive when he has to be like that. She like has obviously painted upon this person a trope of a stupid romance novel hero who is like half fucking Christian Grey, half like fucking werewolf, or vampire or something like. So when she says you are going to leave me in a hut in a village, it's because she's like, how are you going to leave me unprotected? And it's like, because this man is not a protector. That's why. Anyway. Okay. So she's like, well, I don't really know how you're going to leave me with these evil eye beads when we have to go meet your friend Mimo and Tuba. And I'm like, oh my God, I love that we get to meet Mimo and Tuba. He's like, well, I want you to not be friends with Michael. And she's upset. She thinks that he has the huge balls to have secrets and be controlling about Michael when he's like obviously not telling her the truth about fucking the debt. And he's like, well, men know men, he says. Just how Johnny knows how men knows men. I know how men know men, which is men want sex. They don't care about anything else. If they're looking at a woman, it's sex. And if he looks at you, it's sex. And if he wants to hang out with you, it's sex. He can't possibly be your friend or think that you're funny or smart. Now, here's the thing. Does Michael want sex from Laura? Yes. Sure. Yes. Why? Well, how do I say that? Because we have eyes. And also like he did that whole thing, about how he can't really connect because he's so scared. He's so vulnerable because of his birth defect, even though she's basically staring at him in the face and the nose and being like, I'm okay with all of it. Please, dear God, can you just be hot for me? And by be hot, just be a little toxically masculine for me. Like if Laura could just get Michael to man up, be like, you're my lady. I know you want me. And so we're past that. And I know that you like a little bit of, however amount of like toxic masculinity. And I'll dial it up like cosplaying to make my lady happy. But underneath it, we know that I'm a little teddy bear. with want like feelings. Well, like insecurities and feelings, whatever. Like if that's their thing, that's their thing. I mean, I'm saying that's what she wants. And I'm saying if he wants to be with her, God bless. Men knows men, he says. So then they go to a coffee shop. Honey, it's called 1453 Ottoman, which is the year of the fall of Constantinople to Istanbul. That is what happened, honey. You know it. Constantine, honey. Byzantine. See, I tell you, I'm like your smart, dumb friend. If you saw 1453 Ottoman, you're like, I wonder what that means. Or maybe you'd even see the name of the coffee shop at all. I'll tell you exactly. Yeah. That's their claim to fame. I mean, I want to see it too. I want to go to the bazaars and I want to like smell all the spices. Absolutely. And I want a glass lamp. But the funny thing about the glass lamps is just like, how do people travel with them? I mean, I think I've already said this already, but like, do you ship them? And do they ship them in, infinity bubble wrap? Like I can't even say it. Infinite bubble wrap? Okay. So he is a regular at 1453, honey. He has a usual table. And then his friends, Mimo and Tuba, come. They're both like they're very young looking. One's like red haired. They both are like baby nerds. They look like nerds and they are so young looking to me. And it's so interesting because I'm younger than Laura. And I was looking at these two friends and I was like, if I was dating someone and I knew that person was younger than me, but let's just say I was dating someone who, okay, you know how some younger people like look older, whatever, some younger people look older, like, okay. And let's just say in this situation, this is horrible because it's okay. Let's just say in this situation, it is an older lady like a me or a Laura, and we're talking about a younger guy or whatever, like Beer Khan. I think Beer Khan doesn't look super young, but he definitely looks like around his age. Okay. Now, but there are like men, boys, young, whatever, people that are younger than me that look older. Let's just say I started dating someone. If I sat across people that looked as young as Mimo and Tuba, I would feel like I would then have to break up with who I was dating because it'd be like a weird mirror reality check of like, wait, well, I can't have like dinner parties with like 14-year-olds coming to my home, like I'm not going to like, what am I going to do with these two people? I'm going to play Dungeons and Dragons, like, I don't know. It's not that, by the way, Dungeons and Dragons could be any age. I couldn't think of like, I just think they're like young nerds. I don't know what their fucking thing is, but like, and I would pay, I don't know if I would play Dungeons and Dragons. And definitely not like every time I had a dinner party. It's no mafia. But at the same time, it's like, I don't think I could socially be around people who looked so young a lot. And I think, yeah, like, is that reverse ageist? Am I ageist? You would have to tell me in a comment. Still give me 5 stars if you're listening to this podcast. Just give me a 5-star review and be like, also just mildly ageist when you said this one thing. That's fine. I still love you, Chris, because you called it out for yourself and you're working towards being a better person. That's all you can really ask of me. It's fine. So he is there smoking all the goddamn day. He loves his shisha, honey. He's there smoking shisha. We're like, how do you have the money for it? Because, but at the same time, not to tell you so many stories, but I worked at that Egyptian restaurant that was like a hookah lounge for like far too long. And it was like a nightmare because it was open till 2 a.m. and 4 a.m. respectively. And they literally had to have a minimum because people would literally just come and get one shisha, which was like, let's just say $20 and like 2 mentees, $1.50 and stay there for 14 hours. Oh my God. So that's what this man does. And I hate him for it. And it's just, he's making people like change his charcoals and he's not going to tip him anything. He has no money to do so. So then they sit down and Laura's sitting there and she's like, oh, okay, you come a lot. Oh, you love shisha. You're like the caterpillar in fucking Alice in Wonderland. That's crazy. His friends tell Laura that, he's like a little kid inside. And Laura's like, not hot. Don't tell me that. Tell me about all the dark parts about him. Tell me about the parts that are like, he would like look at you in the eyes and you don't know if he's going to like kill you or fuck the shit out of you. You're like, oh my God, Laura, take a goddamn cold shower in your Airbnb and sit this one out. This is not it. God, I just like, is Michael, this just sounds so bad, but half of me is like, Michael could just like get a little bit of a spray tan and darken that hair a little bit and just like lower that voice a little bit and just come in with like BDE, big dick energy, like opposite of Jovan, just like coming in like he knows that it's hot and heavy and that, like she just needs that like I got it vibe. And, let's just, okay. It must be really a pressure-filled situation to have to come with that, right? Like if we're talking about gender roles and then traditional gender roles, like, and maybe like even what I'm talking about is like sexual shit. So it's like dom stuff or whatever. I mean, I don't know. Like it's to be a dom, to be dominant, to be like controlling or to be like the person in the power position, like all of those requires, it requires a lot of work. It's a lot of responsibility, says Superman, like it's much easier to like not have to do that. And so I get the pressure of having to sit in that. And if you don't feel any of those feelings, it can almost feel like imposter syndrome, and it's like the moment of Michael not being able to just look at Laura and just be like, don't go to Turkey. Why would you go? I'm right here and you feel this too. Take off that shirt. I don't know. I can't do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, like if Michael pushed Laura against that wall, honey, and she got to experience Michael fucking throwing down a pickleball racket, and I mean, giving it to her, Laura would be so happy and Michael would be so happy. I wonder if it is just as easy as like doing it once and then feeling the power and then sitting in the knowledge that that worked and that that's an option next time, like I wonder, for them, I wonder, I would really like need like a male's opinion on this, but like one that would speak to this. Okay. Anyway. Okay. So when I was like, hey, I'm calling someone, just kidding. I know my dad, kidding. I told you it's a solo podcast right now. No guest, don't worry. So basically his friends just start talking in Turkish and Laura's like, I'm sorry, what? No. Should I get my Google Translate? Just like, and the answer is yes. We wish you had just gotten your fucking phone out and just silently translated everything they're saying, because they're like, well, are you going to tell her the other thing? You know, the thing about how you commandeered this table for 20 hours and really like fuck over the waist draft here because like no one can use this table in their section. But can you tell them about how you spend your days besides smoking shisha? And it's gambling, which is what Christina said it was. So shout out Christina. Christina was right. Christina, my producer, who obviously was on 2 episodes ago, called out that he gambles. And she's right. That is what he does. Now, it's still confusing because we're like, well, is that how you lost the money? Because he's like, I lost my job. He makes it seem like he lost his job. And so he's been gambling to make money. And we're like, buddy, his friends are like, oh, yeah. Or he's addicted to it when times are rough. Now, it's interesting when times are rough. It's like addiction obviously is like a whole psychological topic, and there's so many different modalities I don't understand. And gambling is something specifically I also don't understand. I wonder, is gambling like, okay, I think that drinking, okay, how to say this? There's drugs that you use recreationally, right? There's drugs that you have to use every day. There's all the drugs in the world, right? There's all the drugs in the world. Okay. There's like the heroines, right? And that's that. There's like the drug of, let's just say, alcohol. There are people who definitely, when like they're depressed, drink more, right? And when things are going well, like they drink less. But to me, I wonder, like, is the same true for heroin? Like, are there people who do heroin occasionally or recreationally, like every other weekend, but when things are hard, they do it a lot. And then when things get better, they do less of it? Is gambling like that? Like, I'm assuming that once you like to gamble, you want to gamble. And when things are going good, you'd want to celebrate by gambling, or the gambling would be still be there. Like because even going back to alcoholism, there's definitely alcoholics that like want to drink regardless. Like if things are bad, they want to drink. If things are good, celebrate by drinking, right? So it was just interesting. Or is that like the caveat the friends were saying, like, oh, he is completely obsessed and does gambling every day when he's in a low place, when they should be like, well, we've only known him for the low place, which is the last 3 years. Like we said, we've known him 3 years. So all the 3 years we've been knowing him, it's been in this low place of gambling all day, every day at this Ottoman coffee house, smoking, who knows what, like We don't know the follow-up questions of like, did he gamble into debt? And does he think he's going to gamble out of debt? Because he's not, like you don't gamble out of debt. Like if you gambled into debt, like you don't gamble out of debt. It's difficult when people say that they're professional gamblers, because the truth of the matter is the stock market is a gamble. Like if you have all the stocks and you put money in stocks every day, that's your job. It's kind of like gambling, right? But it's just like high level. It's like the highest level gambling. And hopefully you are a financially, sound person, and if not licensed or whatnot. But I don't know. There's people that do day traders. You can do whatever with your own money. Obviously, you can do crypto with your own money. That's fucking gambling. All of it's gambling. All that like money and investing is gambling. Gambling is gambling with slot machines. But like there's just obviously better risk and reward infrastructures. And it's, difficult because there's like online gambling now, and even like the gambling of buying and selling collectibles and like different like cards and stuff like that, like sports cards and all that stuff. We don't know. I wonder what he actually gambles. Is it blackjack? So she knows they're talking not in English, and I don't know why she hasn't left like 1 billion times, and I also can't imagine why the producers haven't been like, Laura, we have to find a time for you to have a secret conversation with Michael. Like, if we know that he loves this coffee shop, maybe like the next scene is like him being like, well, now that you know where I like to go hang out, I'm going to go hang out there for 3 hours because I like to have my alone time. We've already established that. And then she can have like a FaceTime with Michael and be like, and then by this point, what would be great is if Michael somehow had done like a bunch of detective work and like found out a bunch of like secret shit and then told her. Or if Michael's done, like, what if Michael, like, I don't know, started to read all her fantasy novels and try to, like I said, adopt a persona that Laura found sexy. We need to know what Michael wants and needs. And I'm like hoping that the big twist and reveal is like waiting to see what happens with them, because because the fact that we haven't seen him is like confusing for no payoff. So I'm assuming, just as like a writer or a storyteller, that it's going to come back in a great way for us. Honey, like maybe he just flies out there. If he flew out there when she was upset at him, and then he just showed up, and maybe it was raining and she was like, Michael, and he would just looked at her, brooding but like stoic, and she knew why he was there. And then maybe something fucking great happened. Like maybe like Beer Con like ran up to Michael and was going to like try, I don't know, give him like a 1-2. And then Michael just put up like one hand and then just like barely touched Beer Con, but he fucking falls over. You know what I'm saying? And then Laura, like you can hear the throbbing of Laura's because she is so into it, you know what I'm saying? And then Michael like knows, like he can hear it too. So he feels like hot. He feels like enlivened by it. Like I like to think that two horny people can start to just vibe off of each other about how horny they're making each other once they sync up, like a genital meld where they're like, or like they're just in tune, you know what I'm saying? So like, yeah, like once he feels like she's into him and it like thinks that he's hot, and once she feels like he has made a bold move to let it be known that he silently craves her, like that's all she wants. Okay, I'll stop talking about it. I'm like, okay, Rick and Trish. Oh God, no! Why did I save this for last? I'm not happy about it. I'm mad. Honey, they're looking for lemurs. Honey, he just loves that Madagascar movie. I still haven't seen it, so they had to show me what a lemur was. And I was like, oh my God. And he says the thing that I thought, which is true, squirrel monkeys. Yeah, but with intense yellow eyes. I mean, those eyes, they look like they're going to claw your eyes out. Like they look like they can't wait to like jump on you and just eat your face. Like, they seem fine. And, Trish does this thing that I love. Like Trish, is like, yeah, they're chill, like stop being so stupid, like they're called Mackies here. And then she makes their sound. I mean, I can't make it, but it's like, I know that, okay, I do this a lot. I recognize on this podcast, I often will say I can't do something and then will immediately try to do it where I shouldn't do it. And I know I shouldn't do it, but B, like, can't help myself but try. So that is okay. So I know that. So basically after that, he's like, this is great. Speaking of that Madagascar movie, you know why I watched it so many times? Because of the kids. I love my kids, love those sons of mine. Can't wait to see them sons, especially those two younger ones, that make me tired all the time. I can't wait for you to be their stepmom and bring a stepmom home. Yep. You, me, just the four of us. Just the four of us. We can make it if you say so. She's like, oh, okay, well, that's a very fucking bold way of saying there's a cap on this fucking party size. I don't want to just raise your kids. Now, there's nothing wrong with raising other people's kids. But for Trish, she has made it very obvious that she has a lot of love in her heart. And she also has been called to be a mom. Remember, she's like a whole ass doula. It's like she knows about them having kids. Like this, she knows what she wants. You know what I'm saying? Like, she wants to have kids. And he says he's not in the position to have another. And she's like, well, then why are you here? If you're not in a position to have another kid, then I doubt very much you're in a position to have a whole adult, like to take care of me, to be your wife. Like I can't, work when I get there. She's like, if you mean like physically, I'll do it. I'm going to take care of it. I took care of my bro and sis. I'm a doula. Like I know how to take care of a baby, and you can just be an old man, fuddy-duddy somewhere. And then he doesn't want to have another child. And so he says he can't answer that right now. He refuses to answer to her, although we know the answer, which is that he does not want to have a kid. He's lying to her. He has an answer. It's no. But he just wants to keep hitting that fountain, taking a drink from that fountain. You know what I'm saying? Squirt her. Then they have a fish picnic. Okay. And a fire. It's fresh seafood picnic with a fire. Now she does a squat on the beach, and she tells him what her family life is like in the village. And he is like, the squat is too much. Is there a chair? Now they're on a whole ass beach. And so that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my whole life. It's, you know what it is? It is interesting. Listen, it's interesting for someone to have the desire to look fit, but not have like the strength or endurance or agility or like flexibility. What are all those muscles for if you can't like use them? A squat's a squat. I mean, okay. So basically she's like, yeah, I don't know what world you live in, but my family is going to want you to be a good match for me. And they expect me to have kids. They want grandkids. And it's like, Rick never heard of that. And then Rick's like, okay, yeah. How old's your dad? She's like, younger than you. My dad's 50. And he's like, well, does your dad know how old I am? She's like, nope, nobody. That's on you. This is all you're doing. You're your age for your own reasons. I didn't make you your age. I don't got to tell him shit. I've been too fucking busy, like dealing with your bullshit about my motorcycle, my ex. Also, I don't need to tell my parents, like, if you're anything about you until I know if you will do something basic like father the kids I want to have in my life. Also, they won't give me my blessing to marry you if you won't have kids. So straighten up or fly right. I mean, here's the thing. He wants what he wants, which is a young, hot person that he just loves having sex with and just gets as wet as possible to come take care of him, take care of his kids, be okay with whatever he gives her, which is not a lot. And she better not ask for anything else. If she looks or even has someone else look at her in a way that feels like they want each other, he will book a flight to some travel bro destination and fuck someone. I mean, and then complain about money. I can't, I'm like, sorry, you know what it is? It is obviously he grosses me out and I don't want to be too negative, but how do you deal? How do you deal with how gross he is? How do you deal with like what's happening? I need her to get out, like I need her. I don't know if she just thinks that this man is going to save her and that he's like hot enough to promise some sort of like fantasy life in America and whatnot. But he is so selfish in the way that he views relationships, and what he wants is so far outside of what would work for him, just purely based on what he thinks he deserves or what looks good, that it's repulsive. And the interesting thing is, like, we've seen this before, it's the dudes are always in these situations are wildly ignorant to how they're coming off. They always feel like they're just trying to see fight the good fight of finding love. Just so happens to be with a much younger, much more beautiful young piece of, lady, that should be happy to be with me as an older American man that, sometimes pays for things and don't want to have kids with them, even though they've told me they want kids. It's just always it's confusing to me why they don't take into account what someone else wants. Unless they think the only thing this person could possibly want is just to make it to America and they should be happy with anything else. And then you would have to just tell me and them and the cameras that, listen, what I'm offering is a one-way ticket to America. That's what I can give you. That's it. Don't ask for anything else. And they would just be like, okay, well then I'm just going to have to say yes to you for, however many times and then leave you and then, find someone who I want to have a family with and love and be with for the rest of my life. Are you okay with that? Yeah. If you want me, I don't know. It's like, it's interesting. I can't wait for her dad to meet, Rick. And I also wish that we could get like any piece of information from any of his other kids or his ex-wives or the woman from Colombia. Like, I do wish that someone like that would come about. I also feel like we're going to see her ex from the motorcycle situation. So many things, So anyway, my loves, thank you so much for listening. I know this is a long episode, especially because I talked to myself, but at the same time, interesting because they're all my thoughts. No, I'm sorry. They're not all my thoughts or, what I'm being shown, but I'm sorry. I'm dumb. You guys, I love you. And thank you so much for being here, specifically because like what's happening in America is wildly horrible. And I almost don't know how to, do or think about other things besides the pain and suffering of other people. So I know when I'm talking about this dumb reality show, there's like a lot of important things happening. And so, there's two sides to this whole world, I guess. So this is the dumb frilly side. And then, just where everything else exists too. But no, thank you so much for, I guess, giving me some of your rest and respite. All right, my loves, let's breathe together and go on our ways. But first, follow me and give me 5 stars. Okay. Give me 5 stars wherever you listen to podcasts and a helpful review. I surely need them. Tell me whatever you think, most of the good things. And also follow me at Chris L. Farah on Instagram, on TikTok, Chris Farah on Patreon, where I put up the visuals before anyone else, at least 24 hours of Vanity Farah's episodes. I also have a Substack and Facebook, Chris Farah. Vanity Farah is the private group on Facebook. All of that exists. Then, and finally, 2 breaths and we're out. All right, baby boos. I really hope you have a great week. Okay. Thank you so much for being present with me and all of us in this moment listening. This is a mindful moment for this part of your day. And then you can go on and scroll and do whatever you need. So here it is, the actual one. That was the rehearsal. Blow it out and breathe it in. That's nice. All right, my babes. Take care of yourselves and one another. Stand up for what you believe and make art. And I'll talk to you later. Bye.